Most survivors I've met grew up in families where talking about our bodies was off limits. It was seen as safety through innocence. But what if not having the conversation and staying silent actually made us more vulnerable? In this video, you're going to hear from Rosalia Rivera, one of the leading voices in consent education. She's going to break down why not talking to our kids about our bodies is one of the most dangerous myths out there, and how we can change that. If you ever wondered, what would have protected me as a kid? Or maybe you have the question as a parent, what can I do to have my kids less at risk?
Every parent or guardian who is a safe person, every parent who is safe, or guardian who cares about their child's well-being does not want them to be victimized in any way, and especially sexually. I think most people know the long-term trauma that can bring. I don't think most people are even aware of the hardship that even the family would have to go through dealing with that. And because it's such a hard thing to even wrap your head around, I don't think any parent ever even wants to imagine with their child, imagine the act of their child being abused. So because it's such an ugly thing to think about, it's like people just want to put their heads in the sand.
If you ever grew up in a house where no one said the words penis or vagina without whispering it, that's what she's talking about here. It's not that our parents didn't care, but they thought that silence was the best way to protect us. But here's where their thinking actually breaks down.
Because they don't want to talk about it, they don't get educated about it. Because they don't get educated about it, they don't understand how it happens. And because they don't understand how it happens, they make assumptions. When you make assumptions, you typically get it wrong. And what parents a lot of times are getting wrong is that if I teach my child about sex, then they're more likely, it's like this old idea of if I teach my child about sex, they're gonna go out and have sex, they're gonna get pregnant. And so for a very long time, the idea, which I think still is so prevalent in so many parts of the world, the idea is that if we just keep kids innocent and don't teach them anything about bodies and sex, they'll just stay innocent and protected, and I just have to keep an eye on them, and that will keep them safe.
And I get it. It sounds logical at first, right? Keep the information away, keep them safe, much like Gandalf from Lord of the Rings. But as Rosalia explains, doing that is actually the opposite of protection. It doesn't just fail as a concept, it actually puts kids in a more vulnerable position.
That, along with that, there's also the idea of this prohibitive way of dealing with it. If I just prohibit information, if I use fear-based information or tactics, then that's really it will keep them away from experimenting, it will keep them away from even being curious and wanting to know. And I'm just, not gonna allow certain things. So that just, it doesn't work, because we are all sexual beings from birth.
I know, that line may make some people's eyebrows raise up to the roof, but what she's saying actually makes sense. We live in our bodies, and if we simply ignore that we're sexual beings, that isn't gonna go away.
And I know for a lot of people, they're like, you're not sexual until you're a certain age, or until you hit puberty, or until, you become, into your late teens. That's when that starts to awaken. But the truth is, we have bodies that we live in. Whether you believe that we're souls living in bodies or bodies, having souls, The truth is that we have these bodies and we are naturally curious about them and we have questions about them. And in order to understand our autonomy, we have to learn how to be responsible with our bodies, and we have to learn how to take care of our bodies, and we have to understand the rights of our bodies. Like, there's a lot that comes with having bodies.
This part really clicked for me. As a survivor, I really struggled with this aspect. It's not about just knowing what's off limit for others, but it's about knowing how to care for and respect your body. That's what gives kids the language and confidence to actually speak out.
This is where we start with the basics of body literacy, and people don't understand that body literacy is sex education, because we are born with, different characteristics, and there's this whole fear of, like, if we teach certain things, we're gonna mix kids up. And the truth is that we have to give them some education around these things. And it should, of course, be age appropriate. We don't need to teach a 4-year-old the mechanics of sex, but we do need to teach them that they have genitalia and what the names of the genitalia is, so that if someone touches them inappropriately, they can name where they were touched.
As a parent myself, the one thing I really take from this video is that body literacy is actually protection. And when kids don't have the language to actually explain what happened, they can't tell you what happened. That is why body literacy is really important.
To say, I'm not going to teach them that because that's a dirty word, is a value-based concept that actually is harming your child and putting them at bigger risk.